Touchdown Tampa Bay. You're listening to the Pewtercast.
Welcome to the Pewtercast Live. Wow, Ren, you and I have done two of these, it feels like, in about as many days. But we've had big things happening here over the last 24 hours in Buccaneers land. And what a better time to go live and talk about everything. It's been a huge, huge day here for us at the Pewtercast and for everybody out there really in Bucs Nation.
Cut day. My favorite day of the year to crush dreams and aspirations.
What was
it was funny.
Jason Light said on Hard Knocks about this day?
God, I don't know.
He's like, I'd rather be on an airplane ride with Skip Bayless going into the Bermuda Triangle than do this or something like that.
Yeah, and I can see it from their end, but from my end, like I really liked it. I remember when I started first doing Ren's training camp journals like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I was like the only, besides the major outlets, like I was like the only one doing a 53-man roster prediction. And now, like, I think I've seen like 10, like in the past week, like, like everyone does one. I didn't even do one this year. It's like, what's the point? Like, what's the point?
Right. Yeah, it's been something, but you know, a couple weeks ago, you and I did a 53-man roster prediction, and
we did.
I think we were relatively close. There's definitely been some changes. There were some unexpected cuts, unexpected injuries, but we have come down to unexpected signings. Right. We are now down to our initial 53-man roster
final
for the Tampa. No.
Final. This is going to be set in stone. Till the new year.
No. And there's been a few surprise cuts really that have come out in the last 24 hours. But before we go any further, Ren, I want to give a quick shout out, props, show some love to Greg Auman, who has been on it and killing it with the news. No disrespect to anybody else. It just, Greg has felt head and shoulders above everybody else, at least to me, during the last 24 hours as roster cuts have been coming.
Oh, it's not even close. You know, and this is what sort of Greg excels at, like this. And then when after the draft, when he's the person to follow when they're filling out, you know, all the undrafted free agents, guys that are signing with the Bucs, like he's also the person to follow. And like it was close with Trevor as far as after the draft, you know, for a little bit there, but since he's moved on, it's Greg, and Greg stands alone. Like there's no one even on the, like they're still in the locker room, you know, like they don't have their cleats tied, and you know he's out there with a 50-point lead. It's not even close.
Yeah.
But to put it, I guess the best way you could put it, like we could have not have this show right now without Greg Auman.
That's 100% true.
Yeah. Period. End of story.
100% true. Yeah. So big props to Greg Auman, and I'm sure he's never going to listen to this, but thanks, Greg. We really, truly, for all fans and people that follow this really closely, we appreciate your work here, particularly over the last few days. Real quick, Ren, before we go any further, I want to give a quick shout out and say hello to everyone who is joining us out there on YouTube and on Facebook, as we now simulcast to both places at the same time. Hello and welcome to the Pewtercast Live. Ren and I are going to be talking about all the roster cuts that have come down. We'll be talking about the initial 53 here over the next 45 minutes or so. And we will have phone lines open. If you guys want to call in, talk about your most surprise cut, or talk about the guy you're really excited making the team. And Ren, we're just gonna kind of break this whole thing down as we go through. We'll go ahead and open up the phone line if anybody does want to call in. That number is 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. You guys can do that, or we'll drop a link down in the chat, and we'll, you know, if you guys want to pop in, you guys can you can pop into the whatever this is, the video chat here, I guess.
We can bring people in on video chat.
We can. Remember, we did that with the other service, and we can do that here as well.
All right.
So anyway, so for you guys out there, and I do want to stop and talk about really the first two cuts before we go in through all the things. Let's talk about the first two cuts as they came out. Probably, I don't know if they were the most surprising. A little bit surprising they might have been first. But kicker Matt Gay cut 5th round draft pick from last year. A lot of people giving Jason Light a lot of grief. Stop kicking kickers, or stop drafting kickers. Looks like we're running with
stop kicking drafters.
Yes, whatever it is.
Nah.
Stop. We're going with Ryan Suckup. I'm not even really sure what he had to do to get the job besides be available.
Yeah, besides like pass COVID test.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think Matt Gay did anything wrong when Suckup got there.
Games. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this training camp, it seems like that happened so quickly. It seemed like that was sort of the writing on the wall. It's like it was basically past COVID. Show us that you can still kick at with no discomfort, and you've got the job. So
right, because I mean, bottom line, last year we lost at least 2 games, maybe 3.
Yeah,
because of a bad kick. Right.
Yeah.
Games come down to that. Bruce Arians talks about it in his book. Games come down to that last kick, and you've got to be able to make it when that happens. And Bruce ain't playing around this year. They're not playing around this year. You do something stupid like that and out. They don't have time. Not this year. Not this year. They can't hang it on that. We're not talking about the future. We're talking about the now in Tampa Bay. So, Matt, I was surprised, but I understand.
Yeah, it was a little hurtful. We all liked his leg. We liked we liked the boom. Yeah. But as they always say, the first cut is the deepest.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you very much. I roll. So yeah, everyone would have liked for him to work out because it would have nice to have seen Matt Gay trot on the field and bomb like a 65-yarder to win a game, against the Saints or the Falcons, just like, ha, like, look what we got and you don't. But it was his bugaboo. Like I talked about it last year in camp, like between like 35 and 40 on the right hash mark, he just couldn't make it.
Yeah.
He missed every practice all the time. But, thankfully, so did Santo. So he got the job, and then had that disastrous kick against the Giants, and then really pulled himself back together. Was having a really good year historically for Buccaneers, as far as percentage wise. And then those last couple of weeks, like he missed a couple extra points, and he missed 3 kicks in the Falcons game to end the year. And it was like, yeah, we can't. Like, I'm sorry, we can't have this. Like, we need somebody. And BA said it. Like, he's at the point now. He's like, can you make everything inside 40? Like. Okay, like that's all I need. Like that's all I want. That's all I need.
Right. We'll get you there.
Make your extra points.
Just make it. Exactly.
If we're not in the red zone and we're like at the 27, can you make that field goal? A 40-yard field goal is like from the 23, like where it's snapped.
Right.
I mean, that's not far.
Right.
So make that.
Yeah, you got to make those. So Matt Gay is gone, and the next one cut after that was Dare Ogunbowale, special teams captain of last year, but he was gone, and they're both out early. I don't know when the waiver wire. I think the awards go out tomorrow at noon.
I'm not sure if that's when it starts or when it ends. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly how the waiver wire, but I'm sure Dare will get picked up. I mean, I saw right away sort of like fans of other teams talking about, making him running back 3 or even running back 4 on their teams.
Sure.
Ooh, that's nice.
We got a phone call. Let's go ahead and check out and see who is calling us here on the Pewtercast. You're on with Brent and Red.
First call of the year, Chef Aaron at your disposal.
What's up, Chef? How you doing? Actually, you're not the first. We had a live show the other night.
I was going to let him do it.
But you're the first tonight for sure.
Well, what I mean is the first for me this year, anyway.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Chef,
Way
I've been missing your voice, buddy. I was thinking you might have left us a little bit there,
No, just been busy with work and side projects and all that stuff, so that's been consuming most of my time.
Understood. Well, Aaron, talk to us about your talk to us about your surprise. Talk to us about your thoughts on these cuts, man.
Well, obviously it was. I don't know if I should be surprised that Matt Gay got cut because with his team's history with kickers, this team goes through kickers like it goes through socks at this point. So whenever we find a reliable kicker, who knows if Succop is the answer. But at least this year we won't have to worry too much about field goal kicking because, and I'm not trying to bash the previous quarterback, but at least this quarterback won't give the ball to the defense, like every other possession at this point. So that's at least one good thing. And I'm really excited for the combination of Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. I don't think that Fournette is going to take over his job. I think he's going to become more of the LeGarrette Blount type of compliment to Ronald Jones, the way LeGarrette Blount was supposed to be that compliment to Doug Martin when we had him at the time in 2012. And some of the cuts I've been surprised with. I know some people have been saying Michael Divinity. I'm actually really high on this Quentin Bell guy. I think obviously BA loves speed in his players, and Bell has a hell of a lot of that. And now that he's got Shaq Barrett and even JPP to teach him moves and techniques, I think Quentin Bell could be a very nice surprise for us this season. I don't know if he's going to do total massive type of stuff. I do think Anthony Nelson could surprise a lot of us, but I know a lot of people are concerned with the depth and all that stuff, but to me, it sounds like the staff just believes highly in what we have on our roster currently. I mean, also, how are we going to find out if these guys can prove themselves if we constantly bring in players that overshadow them or take their spots? I know this is a win now year and all that stuff, but we also need to develop our younger players as well.
Yeah, I got to be honest, Chef. I don't know that they're caring too much about developing the younger players right now. I don't think we're going to see Jason Light and Mike Greenberg get the team into too much trouble as far as like salary cap wise and stuff like that. We did see that restructure come through with Mike today. It only really matters if Mike is not going to stay with the team. You know what I mean? But we are going to have to pay for it, but they're only leveraging a little bit each year. They're not killing it, but outside of that, I'll be honest, that's why I'm personally a little bit surprised about the Dare thing. However, I understand I understand what Ren has been saying. The team's never cut a 3rd round draft pick, but also Dare has kind of hit his ceiling. Vaughn is at Dare's spot as like his floor. So that there is the upside. I definitely get that. There's just the experience factor that makes it a little bit surprising. It's not a question mark. I understand why they did it, but I don't know, Ren. What do you think? I don't think they're caring too much about developing the future right now.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what Chef is saying because you always have to sort of have those guys in the hopper. But with so lack of experience in the positions that people are worried about that are actually in the hopper, such as outside linebacker and cornerback, where if one of those guys goes down, like I'm not, I like Anthony Nelson too. I don't want him playing 55 snaps a game though. Right. He could absolutely prove me wrong, but it would be worrisome going into any NFL game. Same thing. Like, if I definitely don't want Justin Evans being, starting at a cornerback spot. Although I'm excited to see Motley right now, he's injured. So like, we're not even sure how that's going to go. So I get the depth thing and building it up. I would just like, and just in those two positions in particular, I would just like somebody back there with a little more experience. But if Anthony Nelson does great this year, then I won't have that problem next year, because he already has this year under his belt. So it's a catch-22, and that's fine. The interesting thing about Bell is that he's only played the edge for 1 year. He was a wide receiver for most of his time at Prairie View A&M, right, and then has only been at end for one time. So somebody who, he's not an undrafted free agent because they had him last year. He was like a late addition on the practice squad last year, and of course got to practice with the team. But somebody who's totally learning a new position now has caught on a 53-man roster in a premier spot on a premier team. That is something to really keep your eye on, and for the future, like you're saying, Chef, it's something to be excited about.
And in regards to Brent's surprise in regards to Delray being cut. I mean, I've been saying for, I don't know, maybe 2 years, just that Delray just is as useless as it is as a running back. I mean, yes, he offers a lot in the pass protection game, as I've been hearing, and he's obviously a great pass catching running back, which, in my opinion, I don't think he offers a lot as when it comes to making people miss, because I don't know what his average was catching the ball and all that stuff, but it's just, and yeah, he's obviously with the special teams ace and all that, but I mean, it seems like a lot of the undrafted or late round picks that we got, or late round draft picks that we got this year, seems like they're going to be mostly special teams contributors, so that may cancel Delray out there. And obviously, with Leonard Fournette coming on, that automatically cancels Delray out. So I can see exactly why they decided to cut him. Who knows? He may actually come back to the practice squad for all, I mean,
Greg Allman reports. Yeah, Greg Allman reports that he is expected to return to the practice squad if he clears waivers. That's the big question mark right now, is if he will clear waivers. So, it's possible we could see. But you're right. I mean, we're going to have Rojo, Shady, and Leonard Fournette. There's not a whole lot of touches left for a fourth running back at this point. So
yeah, and in regards to Ren's concerns about the secondary, I mean, I don't know if they are investing a lot into their safeties, because I know obviously Antoine Winfield, he can cover a multitude of spots with going into the box, going into coverage, side to side, and even in the slot. So I wonder if they're counting on him a lot to do a lot of different areas, along with, we know Jordan Whitehead is coming into his own. And Mark Edwards, he's obviously still a question mark, but sounds like he was having a hell of a training camp. Obviously, we can't tell much about training camp, but seems like he was coming into his own a little bit. So I'm thinking they're also going to be blitzing a lot of Lavonte Davis, that we've been salivating for ever since 2013, because that's when he had his best year as a sack artist. And I think Devin White is probably going to be more involved in the blitzing game too. So I think they have, kind of like what Carmen Vitale was saying, I think on Locked On Bucks, they're going to uncover even more of Bulls defense, to the point where they're going to be just designing and just covering and doing all kinds of different concepts that we didn't even see last year in the season. So I think they got a lot of surprises up in the sleeve for this defense in the second year.
I hope so. I really hope so, because I got to tell you, the fantasy grades for the Bucks defense aren't all that high. It's a very middle of the road team. I know. And I would really like to, I'd like to see this, because that's my big question mark this year is the defense going to pick up where they left off last year, or is it going to fizzle kind of like we saw with the previous defensive coordinator, who shall not be named? Chef, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. We're going to get you off. Thanks so much for calling in, and we'll talk to you later this season. Okay, bud?
All right, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Thanks, Chef.
Thanks, Chef. You guys, phone line's open, 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. Ren, if anybody wants to call in, we'll talk about whatever they want. But for now, why don't we go ahead and just run through the roster as it sits real quick, and we can tick off all the names that we got. How's that sound?
Let's go.
All right, quarterback, we'll start there because we always do. Tom Brady is on the team. Blaine Gabbert, Ryan Griffin. No surprise, Ryan Stinnett is cut. I do remember we had a conversation about whether it'd be Griffin or Stinnett this year. But
did we?
Really, we did. But
why?
This is a case where experience, because hopefully that's the guy that never has to see the field, right?
Right. And you got to develop somebody sooner or later.
And you got to develop, because Brady ain't staying around forever.
He can't play till he's 60.
Ren, we've got a call coming in from Germany. Let's see.
All right.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be fun. Welcome to the Pewtercast. Who do we have here calling us all the way from Germany? Hello. Hello. Oh, I don't want to hang up on you. You're calling from Germany. I wonder if it's Ukulele Pete.
Yeah, right. Maybe he's singing a song.
Yeah. I can't hear you, Pete.
Got the wrong wire plugged in.
All right, Pete, I'm going to have to hang up, but call me back if you can, buddy, all right? Hopefully we get a better connection.
Or any connection.
Or any connection. Right. Speaking of which, I just want to see.
He's determined.
No,
Those Germans are
no,
determined.
That's not somebody I'm going to be answering the phone for.
Ooh, DM me.
Mhm, mhm.
So, I mean, I guess like what sign is Ryan Griffin born under?
Right.
Like this guy just keeps hanging around. All he has to do is like throw a touchdown pass this year, and and that's it. Just wrap it up. Yeah. So yeah, 3 quarterbacks. All right. Yep. No big deal. Keeping an extra one for COVID.
Mhm.
Where are we going to next?
Let's go back to running back, and we'll just wrap that up. We got Rojo, Shady, and Vaughn are the only ones who are on this initial 53. Leonard Fournette is still hanging out there. He is not actually signed with the team yet. The anticipation is that one of the guys, presumably one of the wide receivers, who's going to go on IR most likely tomorrow, will be the guy to make space for that. Let's see if we can't get this guy in here. Welcome to the Pewtercast. Who do we have here tonight?
Brent Wren. Pete has come back.
I've been
I am
missing
here,
you.
my friend.
Welcome back, Pete. Welcome back, buddy.
Sing us a tune, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'll make this quick. It's great. It's going to be a great season. We've seen so many years of this building. I don't care how we do it. Let's just win this year. I don't care who's on the team, who's off the team. Let's just win. Let's get some postseason wins, maybe get to the Super Bowl. And you know what? Let's do another 12 or 13 years of utter depression. But it would be nice to just get one winning season and get some postseason wins to break this drought.
Yeah, you're called to God's ears, man. I think that's sort of I think that's the floor for everybody this year. The expectations are so high, and I think people want to think we're a Super Bowl contender, and I think we are. I think it's fair to say we're a Super Bowl contender. But if this team somehow, some way, either through injuries or poor play or COVID, misses the playoffs, I'm gonna just lay in my bed for a week and I'm not going to work. I'm don't talk to me. I'm gonna break my phone and eat it with my oatmeal. No cinnamon in it, no bananas, just plain oatmeal, over salted with bits of my phone. It'll be the worst. It will be the worst if this team doesn't make the playoffs.
Look, let's face it. If we can't make the playoff with this team, then Tampa is truly doomed to never have good things.
I agree.
There's
no, we've said this for years now around here, and this year it just amps up even more. There's zero excuses. There's zero, zero excuses.
Well, we didn't get Clowney.
It has that's true. But, really, it has to be this year. If we don't make it this year, then it just shows this team is just doomed. So, anyway, listen, I will hang up. I will let you guys take some other people that have been paying more attention to, who's being cut today. Matt Gay, I don't care. I don't care who's kicking. Just make some field goals within the 40 and closer.
There you go.
Exactly. That's it. I don't care what their name is. I don't care what it doesn't matter. Just make some kicks. Don't lose us games. And, go Bucks. And you guys have a great, great, great day. Stay safe. Stay COVID free. And I'll talk to you guys as the season goes forward.
All right, Pete. Thank you so much, buddy. We'll talk to you definitely. And hopefully not lose you halfway in the middle of the season, and I certainly understand why that happens. Ren, let's go ahead and move on to our offensive line.
Right.
For the offensive line, I've got Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet, Ryan Jensen, Alex Kappa, and Tristan Wirfs. No surprises there. Josh Wells and Joe Haig have made the cut. And as far as we know, Aaron Stinney as a backup guard has made the cut. And we have this guy, Mulkin, your Mr. Pringles guy. Once you pop, you can't stop. He is on the squad, but apparently he is injured and expected to go on injured reserve.
Correct.
The team has released a bunch of other guys, including Shackelford, but they've also released AQ Shipley, whom they just signed a couple of weeks ago. The idea being they can release Shipley. Nobody else is going to pick him up, or he'll just say no to everybody else because he's a veteran and a free agent, so he's not subject to the waiver wire.
There you go.
They'll protect Malkin by keeping him here now, move him to IR rather than let him get out there, and they'll move him to IR and re-sign Shipley like tomorrow. Is the presumption of what they're going to do.
Boom, boom, nailed it. That's it. I mean, we pretty much knew that the tackle position was all sewn up weeks ago when BA just said, it's going to be Hagen Wells. I'm happy with tackles, period, end of story. So then it moved to sort of the interior. You know, it was Stinney, it was Bailey, it was Molchen, and Shackelford. Well, then they shined Shipley, and like, okay, bye-bye, Shackelford. Then they ended up cutting Bailey pretty early. I was like, ooh, my guy, Molchen, he's hanging around. Right. I didn't know his knee was injured. So the difference is if they put him in IR now, they can't bring him back for the entire year.
Right.
So like Brent said, if you release Shipley, who's been out there forever and no one signed him, he knows that he will be back the next day. And he doesn't have to go through waivers because he's a veteran, so no one can claim him. So when the season officially starts or the roster officially starts, Molchen's going on the IR because they can bring him back as soon as 3 weeks, and they'll re-sign Shipley. And the interior guys going into week 1 will be Stinney and Shipley.
And presumably they can bring Molchen back and put him on practice, like let him go through the waiver wire and put him out in practice squad if that's where they want to put him.
Yeah, it's that, you know, when
but
he's,
they can't do that if they release him now.
Right. So, you know, that's going to be the interesting part is that battle between Stinney and Molchen. And if Stinney can separate himself in those, you know, how many weeks it takes for Molchen to recover.
And the difference being here, Molchen is an undrafted free agent, as far as I know.
Yes.
Stinney is not. Stinney is a veteran and has been around the league for quite a while. I thought that he was new last year, and I was completely wrong on that. Stinney's actually been around for quite a while, and we picked him up last year. I think it was off the street middle of the year and brought him in. So we have them. So that's our offensive line. And Brad Seaton, our guy, is still the guy who opted out this year with the COVID protocol. So we'll see him back next year. And a couple of these, like Zach Bailey, I think is slated for the practice squad. A couple of these other guys.
Yeah.
So we're not done with them yet. They're just not on this initial 53 roster. Tight ends. We got 4: Gronk, Coward, Brait, and Auclair. Ren, I know you're shocked. You're amazed, shocked. In awe.
Saying this, I feel like I've been saying this since '92. Like Auclair's not going anywhere. I don't.
Right.
Why quit trying to replace Auclair?
Right?
Is Hudson better than Brait? No, then shut up.
Right.
But yeah, it's unfortunate because that tight end room is very talented, and I think a player like Hudson and even McElroy could catch on. Should be able to catch on. They're rosterable tight ends. But it's an embarrassment of riches, and we'll see, you know, which one make it through waivers, if either, and which one, if not both, come to the practice squad.
There you go. All right. Well, finally on the offensive side of the ball, our wide receivers. Now, this is our deepest room. This room will have some changes as we go forward. However, obviously, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin are making the team. Scooty Miller, Scooty. Have you seen the T-shirt, Ren, that people have made for him? That's a dude on a scooter, like going across, and they're calling him Scooter. I know.
Scooty.
It's Scooty. So we got Scooty.
Rhymes with Scotty.
There you go.
Scootery brings up like Roman Holiday. Like, do you want to be known for like Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn taking the day off and zipping around Rome, or do you want to be known as like Speedy Gonzalez?
See, I hear Scooter and I think of Muppet Babies.
Even worse. Even worse.
Justin Watson has made the team. Tyler Johnson, our 3rd round draft pick, has also, or no, 4th round draft pick this year.
5th.
Tyler Johnson was a 5th round draft pick.
We didn't have a 4th round draft pick.
Oh yeah, you're right. Didn't he have a 3rd round grade or something like that? That was like the big deal with him.
He had a number 1 overall grade. No, it was such a deep class, but yeah, he a lot of people had a much higher grade.
Yeah.
If you went and asked sort of these draft pundits and say, hey, which wide receiver was the best value? Name 3. Tyler Johnson would be in that. Not Tyler Johnson. Yeah, Tyler Johnson would be in that conversation. Every single one would name him as one of the best value wide receiver picks of the year.
So that's the 5, and that's generally the main course. Sometimes you go in with 6 wide receivers, but that's 5. We're actually keeping 2 more on this roster.
Yep.
Jaden Mickens is coming back, and I saw it reported by Jenna Lane first. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
me
it
too.
came from someone else. He has been told that he will be the starting punt and kick returner for the team this year.
Yep.
So he's in on that, and then John Hurst, who's a guy that I don't know. They like him enough. He's injured right now, so he'll be another one of those. They'll keep around the roster till tomorrow, put him on injured reserve, and presumably that spot on the 53 is where they'll sign in Leonard Fournette.
Correct.
So
this is my biggest shock. Like, this guy came out of nowhere. Like, the only time
I don't know that I've heard this guy's name before today.
The only time I heard about him was that one day where everyone was dropping everything. You remember that? And Twitter's like, oh, Ronald Jones has like 9 drops, and like McCoy has 3 drops, and now Evans can't hang on to the ball, Godwin can't hang on to the ball, and it was like, oh, this Hurts guy, he's caught everything, making a name for himself today, and that was it. Like, no questions about him in Zoom, no coaches brought him up involuntarily, and all of a sudden now, like, they like him enough where they don't want to put him through waivers, so they're doing the same thing we talked about. What they're doing with Molson is waiting, put him on IR, and they can bring him back anytime they want after 3 weeks.
Ren, I'm not saying I'm not even in coming close to joking. I don't remember this guy at all. I know we've had to have talked to him or talked about him.
I don't think so. I don't think
we had to have him in our initial
saying as
predictions and different stuff like that.
As in, like, this, lump him in with those other 5 wide receivers that were like, don't worry about these guys. They're never going to make the team.
Right.
That's how we talked about it.
Probably. I have zero memory, but they like him enough that they want to keep him around on IR.
It's maybe he's a return guy.
Maybe.
I do not know.
Maybe. So that's going to wrap up our offense. Real quick, we already touched on the kicker situation with Ryan Suckup. Obviously, Bradley Pinion, Zach Trainer, however you say it, they didn't even have any competition in camp. There was no competition. It's those 3 guys. All right, moving over to the defensive side of the ball. We'll start with interior defensive line. The names Vita Vea, Ndamukong Suh, Will Golston, Nachos first off the bench. We got Khalil Davis, our draft pick, who came in, and then Pat O'Connor, who's kind of one of those bubble guys, but he makes it yet again. I think he was on the 53 most of last year, if not all.
Yeah, Scott Reynolds called him a yo-yo, and he has been like the past 2 seasons, maybe even 3 seasons he's been here, where he just goes from practice squad to active roster, and just kind of does that continuously all season. But this was the first time I heard a coach, and it was BA, who actually talked about him in a presser and said that he singled himself out. So that sort of pencils him in for me for making this roster.
But Pat O'Connor had singled himself out? Yes.
What did I don't know, it doesn't matter what I said, but Pat O'Connor.
No, I'm just making sure I'm understanding you right. Yeah.
Yes. Pat O'Connor had singled himself out, in the interior defensive line group. So, that then it just became amount to like a numbers game. Okay. Are they keeping 3 extra or are they keeping 4 extra besides the starting 3? Right. Like, are they keeping, 3 backups or 4 backups? And it looks like it's just going to be those 3, Nacho, Davis, and O'Connor. And I'm still just like, I don't understand what Davis is doing on this team. I don't like, it's not that I don't like him as a player or he stinks, but it's like, it's square peg, round hole, man. But, I'm excited to see what they do with him.
They must see something with him.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
But I mean, a fish can't climb a tree. You know what I mean?
Right. So that's our interior defensive line. How do you feel, Ren, right now as it sits about the depth on our interior line?
About as when I started. I felt much better when Kyle Love was signed because they talked about how
he was a surprise cut.
He was a surprise cut. Yeah. Because they talked about how he was a Swiss Army knife. He could play all 3 positions. And for that right there, for me, like, I would have penned him in. Like, that's really valuable. Like, somebody can play all 3 spots, but I guess he was just too one-dimensional for him.
Right. Yeah, I'll say this as far as depth. I'm at the spot where I'm looking at the roster as it is. Our starting roster across the board, I think, is fantastic. I'm satisfied with everybody that's there.
Oh, yeah.
I think what we're feeling with the depth is the reason a salary cap exists.
Yes.
Like we can't have the stars everywhere. You've got
Right.
to give it up somewhere. And I think that's where we're feeling it right now when we look at that depth. Ren, we've got somebody who wants to join us here in the video chat. Why don't we bring him in and see what he has to say?
All right.
All right. We got
Hey.
John joining us over here. John, what's going on, buddy?
Hey guys, Nuparity.
There you go.
Hey, John.
Yeah, it's
Long
having
time.
yeah. I gotta say though, Cam Gill, that's a guy I didn't expect to make it, especially after he hit Tom Brady. You know, he wasn't supposed to. That it was
Was he
like,
the guy that hit Tom Brady? That you're talking right now, outside linebacker, which we
Yeah,
were just getting
Cam
ready
Gill.
to hit. Cam Gill,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. I'm surprised that after he hit him, I'm surprised they kept him because they're
Right.
like, don't hurt our Brady, don't hurt
Right.
our prized possession.
Well, wasn't the other guy Quentin Bell? Wasn't he the guy who hit TJ Logan and landed him on
Yeah,
IR
and
for the
then
year?
his season.
And they both made it. You know, they both made it. So
I guess they play good enough though. Cam Gill though
Yeah.
definitely is an interesting guy. I read a couple articles about him, you know, saying like, he's a small school guy, you know. He's probably gonna be a guy who'll probably definitely be here this year, but maybe not the next, you know.
mhm.
Be here this year, maybe not the next, but you never know. You know, Cam Gill. I heard good things about him though with the articles I read, you know. Has a lot of heart.
What's your favorite player that the Bucks signed? That we like? Who was your camp guy that you wanted to make it, the underdog that you were hoping made the team and did make the team?
Oh, I loved Parnell Motley all the way. When I picked him up, I was like, that was a good pickup right there. And I'm actually kind of surprised though that Michael Divinity got cut. You know, the guy from LSU. You know,
Right.
Michael Divinity is a guy that I've seen is slotted for a practice squad spot.
Yeah,
Should he
most
clear
likely,
waivers?
yeah.
So
But yeah, I expected Dore to go, especially when we signed Leonard Fournette. I thought, yeah, Keyshawn Vaughn. I know him versus Keyshawn Vaughn, but like Keyshawn Vaughn, he'll probably be picked up, and he's a younger guy, and
mhm.
and yeah, like as you guys said, we know what Dore brings to the team. You know, he's reached his echelon. You know, he reached his peak, and
Mhm.
there's nothing really more we can get from him any bit more. So we know what he brings. You know, we know who he is.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with what he brings. Like he's a
Yeah,
great, you know,
right.
more of a 4 running back guy that's going to go out there and bust his hump on special teams and be a captain and get everybody in the right place. But when you have, unfortunately for him, he just happens to be on a team that has a top 3 roster in the NFL and then added 2 really high profile, better players in McCoy and Fournette. And it was just like, you know, sorry. It's like, you know, I can start for my high school basketball team, but I ain't starting for University of Florida. Like it just,
Yeah.
sorry.
Brian Smith, though, is going to be captain again. Oh, boy. Brian Smith's going to be captain again.
No. Hush your mouth, John. Hush your mouth. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, John. Is there anything else you want to say before we get you out of here, buddy?
Yeah, Fournette was a good pickup, and playoffs this year. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Thanks, John.
Welcome.
All right. There we go. All right, John. All right. So, with that, Ren, why don't we jump over? We'll hit outside linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
We got Shaq, we got JPP, we got Anthony Nelson.
Right.
And then, as we were just discussing with John there, we got Quentin Bell and Cam Gill keeping 5, apparently 4 guys, 2 bones.
2 bones, exactly. Or 2 guys are sharing 1 bone. They've worked it out. They're just,
or 2 guys and one's going to get cut tomorrow when Kyle Love comes back for the team.
I don't know. Who knows?
Why-
Who knows?
Hey, I want to go back and talk about Kyle Love. I know
Sure.
that you have all this inside information. You're talking to everybody. You're in the coaches' rooms, all that
Yes,
kind of stuff.
Yes. All this is true.
Why did Kyle Love get cut?
I said that he's just he's too one-dimensional.
Too one-dimensional.
He's too one-dimensional, and he's too old, and he couldn't do the one thing. His one-dimensionality wasn't good enough.
Fair
Is
enough.
what it was. Like he's not a pass rusher, okay? Is what it is. And so he has to be a run stuffer. But if your run stuffing isn't up to it has to be really elite. And if it starts to drop off, then the one thing you do well isn't always good enough for you to make a roster. And again, it's a tough roster to make this year, man. It just is. So not necessarily at that position, so I shouldn't have said that about that, but But yeah, it's just that's what I think it is. I think he just doesn't have the versatility, and the thing that he does well is just not as well as he used to do it.
There you go. All right. Do you anticipate Kyle Love being a comeback, or is this like is he sort of like an injury depth piece, just not on the roster? You know what I mean?
I think the team would like to have him on the practice squad, but having so many years in the league, does somebody want to grind that hard for $8,000 a week? Which sounds stupid to you and I, but to like someone who's like this guy's like played 9-10 years,
right?
You know, so it just might not be something he's interested right now, and just may hang him up, or he just might not play and just.
I don't need to be on the practice squad. Just call me when you need me.
Exactly. Ren,
we got a caller here. Let's find out who we got in. Welcome to the Pewtercast. You're on with Brent and Ren. Who do we have here?
Hey, what up, guys? It's Steve from California.
Steve, what's going on, buddy?
Hello, Steve.
Chilling, man. Just chilling. Hey, I wanted to get you guys' opinion on Khalil Davis. I'm super high on that guy. What do you guys think? I love the speed. I feel like they've actually chopped it up about him a lot. And they brought his name up, without people even asking about him. So what do you guys think? Do you think he'll have an impact?
I think he'll get some plays this year. I think it's early on. It's going to come down to third and very long situations, because all he is right now is a third down interior lineman pass rusher. The reason I don't understand really why he's on the Bucs is because they have all these guys on the interior defensive line that they keep asking to bulk up. Like they told Nacho to put on 20, 30 pounds. Like Golston's going to try to play over 300 pounds this year. And this guy just isn't him. He wins with like a burst, first step off the ball. He's a gap shooter. He gets small and squirts through, and it's just not the type of player that any other defensive tackles in a Todd Bowles defense have been or is. So it's a real interesting pick. It doesn't mean he can't be successful or can't do what they ask him to do. It's just it's like asking your 7-footer to dribble the ball up the court. It's like, well, yeah, he can do it, but why? Why? Why is he here? So I like him. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see it. I'm not trying to make it any way that he doesn't belong here and doesn't have the talent to be here. It's just a head scratcher of how they're going to use him. And for him to move forward past this year, he's really going to have to prove that he can be that, not the outside linebacker, but the 3-4 end that can hold up against the run, or it's just going to be a guy that they're just continually going to be looking to replace, because just being able to pass a rusher on third and long ain't going to be enough.
Yeah, no, I hear you. When they say he's 315, 6'1", he's got that Warren Sapp build. You know what I mean? He's smaller, faster.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited about him, but I'm with you guys. The depth at outside linebacker scares the ish out of me.
Right.
I'm not sold on Anthony Nelson. I know they're chopping it up about him a lot, but God, Anthony Nelson, you know what I mean? That's what we're going with.
Well, I mean, he was
you know what I mean? JPP gets hurt.
Where did we draft him last year, Ren? He was one of our draft picks. Was he
fourth round?
Fourth round. That's not too bad of a draft pick, So. And he was injured most of last year. Got injured real early in camp.
Got about 100 plays in
camp.
No, he got about 100 plays in the regular season.
Anthony Nelson did?
Yeah.
He had that many?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, he missed a lot of games.
Wow. All right. I'm surprised he had that many, but okay.
Me too.
Right. What'd we say? What's the average number if a person plays as a starter for most of their downs? Most of the snaps? Is it 1,000 snaps?
Yeah, about 1,000 snaps.
So he did it a tenth of the year. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Anthony Nelson, and he's got another year on his belt. But I'm with you, Steve, and I know Ren's been banging this drum since the beginning of that outside linebacker depth is just it's Shaq, it's JPP, and then there's a drop to Anthony Nelson, and then after that it's just a chasm. Even though we got this Quentin Bell and Cam Gill guy. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens with those guys.
Yeah, I think it's weird that, I mean, I know all this COVID stuff going on, but there's still like a lot of talent in free agency. You know what I mean? Like isn't there that Logan guy, that corner out of Tennessee?
Yeah.
Obviously, Clay Matthews. I've been beating that drum. I would love it if they got Clay Matthews. Like, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Hey, well, they just cleared a bunch of money,
well,
but that money's mostly going to be earmarked for in-season injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's
a lot
of
of
not
that
a free spending money,
Yeah.
and they're not wanting to convert much more money if they can help it.
Yeah. One last thing, I'll let you guys go. I'm
Sure.
super, super happy that. I mean, I don't know who's running the ship or not, whether it's BA or Jason Light. I mean, I think it's pretty sure it's BA, but I love that they're cutting throats, man. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like head coaches before would kind of like give players longer chances than they should. You know what I mean? Like, but with Matt Gay, I mean, I'm sure it hurts their pride. You know what I mean? You drafted another kicker, but they're saying, hey, you're not cutting it, you're out. Like, they got competition, and hopefully Suckup can correct everything. But I love that they're swallowing their pride. Hey, Matt Gay didn't work out. Kick rock. You know what I mean? Like, they're all in. I feel like all the question marks, they're trying to address them. Whether they get it right or not, you know what I mean? I don't know. Running game has been questionable. They got Fournette, and then they got more competition for, they replaced Matt Gay. So, but yeah, I'm super excited about that. Do you guys feel the same way? I feel like, I don't know, it was like Dirk Cutter, or they were like cupcaking draft picks.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a fight in philosophy between the way Jason Light wants to run the team and the way BA wants to run the team. I don't know if that's what it was. Jason's going to draft for the coach that he has. You know, like Jason Light's picks are not made in a vacuum. They make those decisions together with his coaches. So, but what I like about this year and what we're seeing they're doing is if they can upgrade you, they're going to upgrade you. And that started at the quarterback position. We've seen it happen now in the running back room. We've seen it happen in, I don't know where else. We've seen it happen in the offensive line. We've seen it happen in the secondary. I mean, remember last year's draft? Like they basically nullified the year before when they went and drafted all those cornerbacks and safeties. So, you know, that they're not above upgrading the spots whenever they see a potential upgrade. And I like that.
Yeah, they did it at tight end and safety too.
Yeah.
And tight end and safety. Yep. Yeah. So, all right, Steve. Well, thank you so much, man. Hopefully we hear back from you later on this season. Okay.
All right, man. Have a good day.
Thanks, Steve. Go Bucks. Steve calling us from California. Yay. All the way out there.
All the way.
All right, Ren. Well, let's continue through our roster spots here. Inside linebacker. Obviously, we got Devin White, Levante David, Kevin Minter sticking in around his role. I know you really are a big fan of that. And then Jack Sitchie making the team.
Boo.
With Noah Dawkins and Chapel Russell both getting cut.
They cut Chappie.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep Chappie around just to call him Chappie.
Exactly. I really don't care who wins between Chappelle Russell and Jack Sitchie.
Right.
But I wanted Chappie to make it. Apparently Chappie's downfall was he just couldn't catch on in special teams. You know, BA said that in a presser. Like somebody asked about him, like, well, you know, I like this, but if he doesn't catch, you know, sort of pick up his special teams play, like he's in trouble. Yeah. And apparently that's what happened. But don't fret, Chappie. Like you know, Sitchie's gonna sit down in his car and it's gonna snap off his tailbone, and you'll be able to to be back with the team. No, I have nothing against Jack Sitchie. I was excited when I wasn't excited for Quan Alexander to blow his ACL, but when he did, I was like, oh, cool, we get to see Sitchie play. Like I want to know about this guy. And what was it, like 9 plays later, Sitchie blew his ACL.
Yeah, and it was right after Quan blew his. Like they blew him out in the same game.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, all right. And then, you know, somehow the guy that's supposed to be blocking him on kickoff coverage scoops him up with both hands. That's not a penalty. And then starts to dump him, and he goes to put his elbow out to break his fall, and it dislocates like it was made of tinder. Like and so he's out for that. So and then we can go back to all his injuries. He had like two season-ending injuries in college.
Right.
So, now, so what's that up to? 4 season-ending injuries?
Yeah, he definitely is getting bit by the
in
injury bug, and
4
that's the thing.
years.
Yeah.
So,
but he's sticking around though.
Yeah, they must like him, and that's fine. And I hope he's
Yeah.
healthy, and I'd like to see him. It's just, I just want him to see Chappie. That's all.
Yeah.
It's this selfishness.
I get
But
it.
Minter's back, and I'm glad.
Right. Mentor is definitely back. So we had that. Oh, the one where we didn't talk about. By the way, I'm sorry. Chadwick Russell is another guy who is slated, according again to Greg Allman, projected to be a practice squad guy.
Good.
But back on the outside linebackers, cousin Daniel, old eye patch boy,
Oh, geez.
right? The Rhinestone Pirate, right?
Rhinestone Pirate.
Right.
Where's Pete?
He's another guy who is
he didn't make the
destined
outside
for
line
practice. Right.
Oh, destined for the practice squad.
Destined for the practice squad. Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump back. We've got in the cornerback room. I've got 5 cornerbacks right on the roster. I've got SMB. I've got Davis. I've got Jamel Dean, my guy. Parnell Motley, the big name out. He's kind of the camp darling, I guess, this year.
Mhm.
And Ryan Smith.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
All right.
It's pretty much what we expected, right?
I didn't know who the 5th guy was. I was really hoping that the 5th guy would become the 4th guy and the 4th guy would become the 5th guy. And it could be that way, but right now Motley's injured, so we'll see what happens. He might not even be on the team tomorrow. Who knows? They might put him on IR. But I'm very happy that at least he made the initial 53, and hopefully he'll be in the mix somewhere, with the team in future years.
Right. Ren, we got a caller. Let's take this call. Find out who's with us. You're on the line with Brent and Ren. Who do we have here tonight?
Hey, what's up? This is Jay.
What's up, Jay?
Hey, Jay.
Hey guys. I was just wondering how you think Winfield going to do this year.
Winfield, getting ready to talk about him.
Or
Ren,
Whitfield, as I like to call him.
No, Winfield. There's no T in his name.
I know. Should be.
Antoine Winfield Jr. That boy's going to be playing all over the backfield or the secondary back there.
Yeah, I think they want to start him as soon as possible. Now, if you paid close enough attention to the hype video that the Buccaneers put out that they recorded during the scrimmage, when Rojo dives over the top for the touchdown, Winfield comes into the picture. So he was running with the 2s. So that kind of tells you where he's at his progression. But he's going to be in there sooner than later. And once he's in there, like, as long as injury doesn't happen, we're talking about like a John Lynch, Rondé Barber type career, as far as, he's going to be like one of the Mr. Buccaneers on that defense. Like when you talk about the Buccaneers defense in 3 years, he'll be one of the first couple of names that comes out of your mouth. It'll be like Devin White, Villa, Winfield. Like that's who it's going to be probably. So I think they're high.
What you're talking right now is you're making a prediction right now before he stepped on the field as a rookie.
Yeah.
To be a future Ring of Honor Buccaneer.
Wow.
That's what you just said.
That's
did. What you just said.
I did. Okay. Yeah. I didn't quite put it that way. Seems like we switch roles here at the Pewtercast. You said something, and now I'm going to put your feet to the fire. I'll stick with that. With that. I think.
Pin the tweet, Red. Pin the tweet.
No, I'm not going to tweet it out. I'm not there yet. But I think he's going to be great. And a little bit what we talked about with Chef is if one of those 3 corners do go down, Winfield and Edwards can be a guy that can come in and play the nickel, and whatever 2 cornerbacks are left standing can stay on the outside.
Before cornerback 4 and 5.
Yes, exactly. So a very big piece. I'm very excited about Winfield.
All right, Jay, is that it? You got anything else for us, buddy?
That's pretty much it, man.
All right, there you go. Hey, thanks for calling in, Jay. Hopefully we hear back from you on future Pewtercast Lives, all right?
Thanks,
all
Jay.
Right.
That was nice and easy.
Yeah, I think that might have been a first-time caller with us with Jay.
Oh, was it? Oh, we forgot to do that.
That's right. Jay, call back. We'll go through the first-time caller stuff with you next time we talk to you.
You got to tell your story of how you became a Bucs fan.
That's right. We like hearing about it. All right, so let's hear. I think we finished up with cornerbacks. Why don't we move over to safeties as we were just talking about? So, Jay, great timing on your call. We got Winfield, we got Edwards, we got Whitehead, and we got Adams coming in to round that out. Your boy, the second president of the United States,
still hanging around,
and Jordan Whitehead, but also Mike Edwards and Winfield Jr. How if you had to put the over under? When does Winfield step into the starter?
Oh gosh,
week 3.
I think that's a great spot for an over under.
Yeah,
for an over under. He's probably not going to play week 1, but I could see it happening. And if he's not going to play week 1, then why play him week 2?
Right.
Week 4 might be too late, because if he's that good, why isn't he in by week 4? So yeah, I think 3 is the sweet spot on the over under there. I'll take the push.
There you go. Ren, we got one more caller. Let's bring them in. You're on the line with Brent and Ren for Pewtercast Live, talking about roster cuts. Who do we have here tonight?
Hi, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can. What's going on? What's your name?
Hey, my name is Keon Williams, and I met you two last year during the training camp games that we had.
Cool. What's up, Keon?
I'm a first-time caller. I'm finally making good on that promise. So for the roster cuts, you said, as far as Antoine Winfield Jr. goes, because I've been watching a lot of his stuff, his tape from previous years. I honestly think that we may be looking at a future Hall of Famer as well. Like, I'm serious. The guy is savvy. He's fast, and he's in the right place in the right time far too often for me to think that he won't start in week 1, in my honest opinion.
All right.
I like it. I like the confidence in him. I really do.
Right. And the thing is, he's versatile. Like, they've been cross-training him in the nickel position. They've been putting him at strong. They've been putting him at free in camp. And he's been working his way up from the 2s to the 1. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, but the only piece of evidence that I'm going off of is what I saw at their scrimmage. And, it's not a question of why, it's when. Like, it's just a question of when. And since they do have Edwards and Adams and Whitehead, they have no need to rush him whatsoever. He'll play week 1 for sure. Yeah. But is he going to be out there on the first offensive snap? I wouldn't.
Red, if he does go out there on the first defensive snap week 1, you're not crying about it either, though, are you?
No, exactly. I'm excited.
Yeah. Really not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I honestly see a Super Bowl run because we have, I believe, a complete defense and a complete offense at the way things are looking at the way. By the way, I know that the run game hasn't been great, but I think Fournette and Shady and Rojo can find some way to be a 3-headed monster, if nothing else. And the development of Kappa, I'm not super sure how much he's going to be able to do. And, of course, Wirfs is going to be good in the run game. The pass game is where we have more questions. But I honestly think that with everybody around him and Gronk being able to help him block in pass downs, I think that overall he's going to be able to, use his athleticism to catch up and make this team, at least go to the playoffs.
I like it. And I hope, and I tell you what, as far as the Super Bowl thing, I was listening to, I want to say it was Rick Stroud the other day, who was talking about looking at this team, comparing it with the 2002 team, saying this is a better team than the 2002 team.
Yeah.
The 2002 team had a lot of good players and several great players. This team has lots of great players. And so, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
Right. And I think the cohesiveness is what's really going to be the biggest part of this team, as it's the second year for a lot of our best players. And we've known, especially Levante David, whose jersey I'm wearing right now.
Nice, nice.
He's only been improving, and that's I think that's going to be scary for the rest of the league.
Yeah,
and we already showed like number one defense as far as the run goes, and we've been a good defense. But we only grew and improved in the defensive side last year. I don't see why that would not happen again this year. And I think we will have Jason Pierre-Paul to start rather than missing half the year and having Vernon Hargreaves out there, limping around.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, Vernon Hargreaves is not going to bother us anymore. Yeah. So, all right, Keon. Well, man, thank you so much for your call tonight. You got anything else before I let you go?
Nah, man. I just wanted to thank you for letting me come on.
Hey, hopefully we hear back from you later on this season as we do our Pewtercast Lives post-game shows, all right?
Oh, yeah. I definitely will.
Let's do it. Looking forward to that. You and I were talking the other day, just a little offline. It seems like each year as we do the instant cast, or what we're calling the Pewtercast Live now, is like there's a different group of callers that call every year.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see who that group is going to be this year. Like
who's
there's always
who's the rookies? Who's the new group of young upstarts that want to talk Buccaneers football with us?
Exactly. So I'm excited to see, who finally screws up the courage to call in, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to say.
I remember when I
call in.
I know. I remember how nervous I was the first time I called you, and and you were like nobody.
Hey, shh. Don't tell people that. Don't tell people that. So
you're some dude who lived in Kentucky who just started a Buccaneers podcast because why not?
Because I had nobody else to talk to.
Right.
That's why I started this show.
And
because I was an out of market fan who had no one to talk to.
And that's why I'm here. Because I got tired of talking to Joe Schmo telling me about how Jason Light should be fired.
Right.
Because he drafted a kicker in the second round.
Right. So, Ren, we had a phone call, but that one we just missed that one. So, anyway, with that, Ren, we have gone through really the entire roster. We've gone through all of our cuts. Oh, well, let's talk about safeties real quick. The guys that got cut: Dakota Dixon,
right,
who's been around the team. He'll be back on practice squad if he clears waivers, probably will. And then Javon Hagan, also gone.
I got a text from him during my fantasy football league.
Did you?
No.
Did you get made fun of for it?
No, but I did make fun of somebody for it.
Yes, you did.
That's an inside fantasy football joke.
It is.
You're welcome, everyone, to the 5 people who understand it.
Right, you're welcome to an inside joke that nobody else understands. Ren, we got one more caller. Let's go ahead and take this final call of the night. Right. You're on the line with Brent and Ren. Who do we have here tonight?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up? Who is this?
My name's Zach. I'm a Bucs fan. I live in New England. Kind of tough up here.
Yeah,
I bet.
Right now. Yeah.
How are you a Bucs fan living in New England? How did that happen?
I don't know, man. I was just from birth, man. I really like football. My whole family likes football, and the Bucs just really stood out to me as this team that was kind of like no one really liked that much.
Okay.
And so I was like, I want to be a fan of like an underdog team.
All right.
Okay.
I could watch grow, and right now it's pretty good.
Better us than the Bengals or the Browns.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what's on your mind tonight, brother? What's on your mind?
All right, so I was going to ask about one of our safeties that I think we took undrafted a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was safety Dakota Dixon.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm wondering if, like Bruce Arians said, I'm pretty sure in a press conference, that Dakota Dixon was going to start if he hadn't have gotten hurt.
Right.
And I was just wondering if you think that he could be one of those potential starting safeties this year if he makes the roster.
Well, newsflash, everything about you said about him is right, except for he has been cut. And it is a real tough safety room. BA said they were looking at him to possibly become a starter before he got injured last year. He was an undrafted free agent from Wisconsin. They brought him in last year, and he was shooting up the sort of like the threes versus the threes and the twos versus the twos. And the day he got hurt, he was getting more one time than he'd ever had, like one-on-ones. Good versus good, they like to call it. He has been cut. Brent just told everybody else that he's going to probably, if he doesn't get picked up on waivers, he's going to be someone who's going to make the practice squad. And I can really see that if any of the safeties get hurt, he's the first guy up. And if none of them get hurt, I can see him being safety 4 next year, like almost lock it, put it in the bag, if we can hang on to him all year on the practice squad. So you like him, I like him, Brent likes him, BA likes him. It's just, you got 3 draft picks in front of you, a second rounder and 2 third rounders. And then, so they just went with the veteran back there, who they know can do it in sort of this weird season, instead of taking a chance on a guy who's never even played a preseason game. So, I'm excited for Dakota Dixon, but if everything stays status quo as far as injuries, like, we won't see him till 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Good luck up there. Rep us.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Yeah. Rep us real well. We got Brady this year, and hey, hopefully we hear back from you on future Pewtercast lives as we call in after the games and everything. All right, man.
All right. See ya.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Man, I like these shows. I like these shows where we get a lot of callers.
Ground floor fan.
There you go. I love it.
I don't care. I'm getting on the ground floor because they have no fans.
Yeah. And I make no, I came as a quote unquote bandwagon fan back in the 90s.
Yes, you
did, but I stuck around.
Yes,
I always say I don't mind the bandwagon fans. It's the ones that jump off that get me, to get me riled up.
Right.
But all right, Ren. Well, that's the roster, at least as it is right now. This will change within the next 24 hours.
Yes, it will.
We will not go live for those changes, but those are the cuts. We'll see who the practice squad guys are that wind up coming back. And, Ren, this week begins week 1.
I know.
No, that means we've got Friday. Well, actually, for you guys out there, it'll be Saturday coming out. We'll have our Buck in the News show. We'll have Pewtercast Live coming up after the game on Sunday. We'll have our midweek show. You guys send in emails, send in iTunes reviews, Apple Podcast reviews. We'll read those on an upcoming show. We're right back into it, Ren, with our regular scheduled programming. I guess that is.
Sure.
For
same bat time, same bat channel.
And we will do all of that until we don't anymore. So
Batman and Robin get out of this dastardly deed over this vat of acid.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Hey, Ren, why don't you take us out of here? Tell the folks out there where they can get in touch with you out there on the internet.
Best place to find me is on Twitter at Rendax, REN_DAXT. I am always down to talk Buccaneers football, but if you think your take's too hot, you know what? Go ahead. Feel free to DM me and we can talk Buccaneers football in my DMs as well.
To get in touch with me, you can find me at Brent Allen Live across all the social medias. And you can find the show. Brent's giving golf claps.
Golf claps.
You can find the show at the Pewtercast on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram, and shoot us emails. I said we will read those. That's coming up on a show. So make sure you get those in, those Apple Podcast reviews as well. Emails go to thepewtercast@gmail.com. Guys, that's going to do it for us here on YouTube and on Facebook, saying hello to everybody watching us in those 2 places. Until next time, guys, go Bucks.
Goodbye.